Welcome to the M4S Studios. And today, of course, we'll be looking at an interesting aspect of our national life and culture, and that's talking about art. When we're talking about art as a medium of communication over years, we have kept our symbols and communicated generation to generation using art. And of course, we've had prominent Nigerian artists like Ben Enwonwu, whose famous painting Tutu broke all the national records. I think acquired by one of the top generals. And of course, if you go to the Benin, the carvings and what have you. But again, for the younger generation, it's beginning to resonate again. Nigerians are beginning to keep art. But again, there's a new dimension because they're not talking about therapeutic nature of art. How does that work? And today I have a lady who's been there from photography. I met her years ago in Upakwe covering some exciting moments of those rays, paintings, photography, and what have you. Let's welcome pretty Zemaye to the studio. Okediji.
Thank you.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Quite interesting when you mentioned therapeutic nature of art. Before we delve into art in general, can you just give me an idea what that is all about?
So art has this fantastic quality of being therapeutic. The art of creating, actually, and creative expression is something that can really serve as a form of therapy for people who do create art. Also, art appreciation can also be a therapeutic process in the sense that people go into engaging with art pieces for the release they get and the calm that they can receive from such pieces.
Well, it's quite interesting because I was talking with a friend who has an autistic child, and he was always talking about arts as an escape and as a relief. I used to sit on the board of Down Syndrome Foundation in Nigeria for about 10 years, and art was a major area. Really, I wasn't getting it now, but now you're talking about the therapeutic nature. How does it really work? How does it, especially for people with some of these situations?
So art also has a very good quality of being able to help people's neural pathways. And so for people who are either, on the autistic spectrum or suffering from Down syndrome, they're able to engage their brain in ways that they might not ordinarily be able to when they're using, with other mediums, when they're using art. So the workings are somehow the art is able to create some somatic releases, which is, the movement of the body, or it is able to help release certain hormones, things that will help people find releases for or develop better when they're working with art.
All right. Before we come into your work and look at it in depth, do you think art is catching up with Nigerians, especially the middle class or the elite? Are they buying art?
So
do they attend exhibitions?
I think art is on the upswing in Nigeria for sure, with establishments like ArtX and now there's a Fela exhibition that's showing right now. There are countless galleries that have sprung up, and they've been there for a while, but they're now getting some of the recognition because they're outside eyes on art. I do think that there's been a legacy of collection, and that legacy of collection is not just for the elite or the middle class. It is also going now to people who are connecting with artists at the more, what I would call the local level, people who are creating art in their schools or in technical institutes. So I think it's definitely has a bigger showing.
So do you see art as an investment?
Art can definitely be an investment, absolutely. Art has the potential to preserve history and cultural heritage. And in that way, when people follow artists, they're able to invest in the future of not just the artist, but also the culture.
All right, let's look at your inspirations. I know you have a couple of work, which we'll see on screen very shortly. What are your inspirations?
So I'm inspired by the artistic process itself. I do have there, you spoke about Ben Nwanwu, and there's Bruce Anabwe-Prayer.
Another
There are
prayer.
people
Those are the legends of the area as well. Yeah.
and recently there's at the KO Gallery, I think there's a showing of some of the older artists who were in the Twin 77, Nike, and some of the other artists that Jimo Baraimo. I think that those people are really the people that I look up to when I think about art. But there are more contemporary artists that I really enjoy. The Pedro Alatiches, there's
quite a few of
there are
them.
quite a few. There are quite a few, and I'm inspired by seeing them keep the legacy. A young artist that's really been inspiring me recently is Halima Boubacar, who she's a northern photographer who does a lot of documentation of cultural heritage, and her work is phenomenal. So it spans a good generational gap, or so the inspirations are the process. The process is, when you make art, or when I make art, I find that I'm sort of in a state of flow, and there's a lot of working through things that it's like my world is shut off, like from whatever kind of hardship or things
stress.
Stress that could be could potentially be a problem for me. So the creative process and some of the other artists that have done this work.
Tell us about some of your work and why you made them.
Some of the work that you might see in this segment is work that was created as digital composites, photography, and some editing that was done, photography that was done underwater, and also with a model. And in some ways it combines different facets of photography. The underwater piece was a bit of processing what it feels like to be submerged, right? And maybe overwhelmed, really. At the time I created it because I wanted to really push myself in the area of editing, because that's an area that I didn't quite appreciate or enjoy about the photography and creating finished products in the photography space. And what I found was, through tackling the challenges that I was having, it was a therapeutic process for me, one, but also it was the beginning of my own journey into thinking about how art can really be a therapeutic tool for more people than one. And I went on to get go and study art therapy and counseling. And I have a license to practice in the state of Maryland in the U.S. As an art therapist.
That's quite interesting. There's also another painting. Can you tell me about that?
So the other one is similar. It's in the same series of work, but that has some undertones of what it is like to be in Nigeria. If you notice, there's the light shaping from underneath the arm of the woman is like a statement about the luxuries, privileges, and also some of the hardships that one can encounter when in Nigeria. So yeah.
And so that's it. And how has been the response for the general public for some of your work?
I think the response has been very positive, and I'm here to say that, if you're an artist, you keep your artistic practice, even if you have to stop at some point, which I did. and re-engage my artwork on my art making, just continue, because that is what makes you an artist, when you can apply your art to different situations and circumstances that you have.
So, do you hope to have an exhibition sometime? Or have
Absolutely.
you had a few?
I have had a few. I've been part of some group exhibitions in the past, but I absolutely intend to have some solo exhibition, or maybe just a viewing of some of my work over time. What's interesting is some of the things that I've captured, some of the scenes in Lagos, some of the underwater photography, composites, some of those work that are now maybe almost 10 years old, and so you can see sort of the progression of things and the areas over time.
So do you think art can put food on the table?
Absolutely, it can, because it helps people develop, it helps people express themselves, it helps people deal with stressors, and it also helps people communicate.
So would you view art as something that comes innate or something you can learn?
Everyone has a baseline of artistic talent, but most of the people that you would see have been able to develop a visual language, some sort of skill set, by practicing and keeping up an artistic practice, which is what you might refer to as something you can learn. But I would say that anyone is teachable when it comes to art. Basic
Painting, I guess, but not those masterpieces, because we've seen a couple of, you've mentioned a number of we mentioned the Ngongo and the rest. Mm-hmm. Do we still have artists in those molds?
I think we do, actually, and it just is part of the push to encourage artists. Now there are people doing exchange programs and residencies and things like that that can help these young artists really move themselves to the level of, like, a Bruce, for instance. Bruce started off and was, almost giving away his work, right? And it's that continuing the practice and keeping up with the art making that has given him such a huge repertoire of artwork, which he's able to sell and also able to exhibit, and actually that is a piece of our history and our culture.
Right. On the final notes, the British returned a lot of Benin arts. How did you see that? Was it necessary? Can we really keep it and maintain it?
Well, what I'll say about that is, when we in-house can get our ships in order, our own house in order, I think the world will be more confident about our ability to keep and house our own art. We are the creators. It starts with us, and it can certainly end with us. But I think that confidence is built when we prove that we actually are communicating to all stakeholders within that space.
The good thing is that you move from here and there, America, Nigeria, and what have you. Do they really appreciate our work from this part of the world, in the US and the rest of Europe?
That's a subject.
And is it appropriately priced?
That's a subjective question to say. Do they really appreciate? Art appreciation is not just about collecting. Yes, and it's also about what the story, what it holds for the community. So sometimes people could be collecting and they don't really care about what it holds for the people that they're collecting from. So it's just sort of a means to an end. But at another token, it's people who know the value of the work or are buying into the artist. They will spend top dollar for the work that is collectible.
All right, it's quite interesting, Zemaye. Good and exciting talking with you. And I hope you'll be able to pass some of this knowledge to the younger generation
That's the
who
hope.
will appreciate art as it is.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Great. Catching up with you here at M4S Studios. And of course, you'll be seeing many more of Zemaye's work. And hopefully she will create time to also educate and tell us more about the therapeutic nature of art and how we can all be beneficiaries of this new trend. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you.